Okay, so good evening, class. So, as promised, here is the summary that you can use for your review. Okay, so tonight I'll just give you a wrap up. So, I will not repeat everything that we discussed in class. I will just give you a summary of everything that we discussed. So, you see, um, the trademark law, the part on trademarks starts with section 121 to 170. So that is like 50 provisions. Okay. So now I'll just give you a one-page summary. And here is the one-page summary. So question and answer lang. So parang dapat kinakausap mo yung sarili mo at sinasagot mo yung sarili mo. So we'll start here, okay, on the middle. I will be talking about the mark, okay, because the mark is the subject, no, of the law on trademarks. So the mark is the first one, okay, dun sa provision. It was defined, no, in 121.1. So mark means any visible sign capable of distinguishing the goods or services. So it's here. It should be a visible sign. It should be capable of distinguishing or distinctive. It should be visible and it should be distinctive. So question, are all visible signs registrable as trademarks? And the answer is no. Because under the law, particularly 123.1, okay, there are 13 non-registrable marks. Okay, so what are these 13? Medyo mahaba-haba din siya. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. Mahaba-haba din siya. But I have a mnemonics for you. So yung mnemonics natin is don't. Okay, falsely suggest the connection. So ito yung consists of immoral, scandalous, falsely suggest the connection. So kinuha ko lang, falsely suggest a connection. So the mnemonics, don't falsely suggest a connection with flag, name, earlier marks, well-known marks. Don't mislead. Don't monopolize generic, customary, descriptive terms, shapes, colors, because it is contrary to public order and morality. So 13 yan, arrange yan. So yung ENF, pinagsama ko because there are two provisions on well-known marks. Okay? So if there are 13, absolute ba lahat ng 13 na yan hindi na pwedeng marehistro? So that is the subject of our question 1.1. Are all these types of marks absolutely prohibited to be registered? And the answer is hindi naman. Okay? There are some marks, particularly those under 123.1J, K, and L. So which are the descriptive marks, okay, the shape marks, and the color marks. So descriptive, shape, and color can gain secondary meaning. So what is the doctrine of secondary meaning? So it means that those descriptive shapes and colors can be registered if they become distinctive, okay, in relation to the goods for which registration is requested as a result of the use that have been made in commerce in the Philippines. So the office may accept as prima facie evidence that the mark has become distinctive as used in connection with the applicant's goods or services in commerce, proof of substantially exclusive and continuous use thereof by the applicant in the Philippines for 5 years before the date on which the claim of distinctiveness is made. So you have to prove substantially exclusive and continuous use for 5 years, okay, for you to be registered using this acquired distinctiveness or secondary meaning profession. Okay, so that's 123.2. So this doctrine of secondary meaning was discussed in the Ginebra case, the St. Francis case, and the Ang Tibay case. The Ginebra case And ang tibay, we already discussed in class, also the St. Francis case. So the St. Francis case is, yung sa St. Francis Square. So because it's located in St. Francis, so the court said, hindi yan pwedeng marehistro. Kahit pa, ang tagal mo nang ginagamit. Unless na-prove mo na you have gained secondary meaning. Okay? Kasi yung goodwill, hindi na yung basta-basta because of your goodwill, pwede ka nang marehis. Pwede mo nang invoke, no? Na sa'yo na yung marka. So, hindi ganon. Sabi ng court, you have to prove secondary meaning. Okay? Yeah. The court said, unless a secondary meaning has been established, geographically descriptive mark due to its general public domain classification is disqualified from trademark registration. Okay, so remember that. Now, let's go to question number 2. Where is question number 2? Here. O, sige na. Okay, alam ko na kung ano ang trademark. Alam ko na kung ano yung mga trademark na iiwasan ko. Kasi nga, not registrable siya under the law. So, how is the right to a mark acquired? So, how can I have a right over the mark? And the answer to that is in section 122. It says there that it is acquired through registration made validly in accordance with the law. So we have to recall na first to file rule na tayo. So the IP code, the new IP code, RA 8293, follows the first to file rule. And actually, this first to file rule is embodied in section 123.1D of 123.1, wherein it says that a mark may not be registered if it is identical to a registered mark or a mark with an earlier filing date or priority. Diba? So, ibig lang sabihin nun, hindi ka na pwedeng marehistro kapag may nauna na sa'yo because we abide with the first to file rule. Okay. So, another question. So, dapat, ito yung mga questions na naglalaro na sa isip nyo. Okay, sige na. Okay, first to file rule tayo. Unahan na lang ba yan? Okay? Is the first to file rule absolute? So how about those who registered ahead of the real owners? So unahan na lang ba talaga yan? Diba? Now, the court said, actually, it's not just a race of who registered it first, because the section 122 has to be read along with section 151. Okay? With section 151, particularly 151B, which talks about the registration obtained fraudulently. And that was discussed in the case of Suneca versus Natra Farm. Because in that case, okay, if we have to remember something, okay, in that case, because in that case, the court said that we already abide with the first to file rule because that is what is in the IP code. Because before, there were flip-flopping of decisions, no? Minsan nagpa-prior use, tapos minsan first to file rule. Pero dito, cleaner na. Okay? That registration must be made validly in accordance with the law. First to file rule, hindi na tayo first to use. And the first to file rule does not apply if bad faith attended the trademark registration. So you should be the first to file in good faith. So yun yung rule natin. You should be the first to file in good faith. So in this case, ang pinag-awayan, di ba, ni Zuneca and ni Natra Farm is si Zuneca is the prior user. Natra Farm is the prior registrant. Both of them are in good faith. So, sino ngayon ang mas may right? Okay? So, yan. Prior registrant in good faith versus prior user in good faith. And the court said, Natra Farm as the prior registrant has a better right over the synapse because, again, section 122, the rights in the mark shall be acquired through registration made validly in accordance with the law. Ano naman yung ginagawa ng Lim versus C dito? Nanilagyan ko pa ng note na the Nipper case kasi ang pinag-awayan nila dito ay nippers, nail cutters, scissors, etc. So it's because in this case, the distributor here in the Philippines was the first one who registered the mark. Okay, was the first one who registered the mark. Pero yung talagang may-ari nun is from Germany. Okay? And then the court said that even if, 'di ba? Kasi yung distributor meron na siyang certificate of registration, 'di ba? And yung registration should be made and yung rights to a mark is made through registration. 'Di ba? So meron na siyang certificate. Pero ano ang sabi ng court? The prima facie, okay, nature of the certificate of registration is meant to recognize instances when the certificate of registration is not reflective of ownership of the holder thereof, such as when there is bad faith. So again, in this case, the court said that the lawful owner of the mark shall be the one who first registered it in good faith. Okay? So paano yan? No? Same then si Zulueta versus si Greek Taverna and the Gloria Maris case wherein yung shareholder nila, ayun, stockholder nila, okay, or incorporator pa, I think, was the first one who registered it in IPOFEL. So it was not registered in the name of the company, but instead registered in the name of the individual. So like in the case of Zulueta, case of Zulueta versus Greek Taverna. So Zulueta claimed to have conceptualized the restaurant Sima and he registered it under his name. So ano yung sabi ng court dito? Under the first to file rule, a registered mark with an earlier filing or priority date generally lang bars the future registration of an identical mark or confusingly similar marks. However, this should not be interpreted to mean that the first application to be filed should in all cases be granted, because registrations tainted in bad faith or fraud are void ab initio. So yung prior use, okay, sabi ng court, yung prior use dyan, hindi naman, hindi naman nakakancel yung registration nung naunang nag-register based dun sa prior use nung kalaban. But the prior use was only used to determine whether there is bad faith. Okay? And then, when there is bad faith, hindi ka na nakakomply dito sa provision na made validly in accordance with the law. Because 122, again, should be read in conjunction with section 125, wherein the mark should not be obtained fraudulently. How about the Gloria Maris case? It's the same case wherein Lim, okay? Lim, who is also an incorporator, okay, was entrusted to register the mark with the IPOFIL, and he registered it in his own name and not with the name of the company. That was, so a case of cancellation was also filed. So this is also a case of bad faith. Okay, this is also a case of bad faith, and in this case, the court said a trademark registration in bad faith is considered unfair competition. Okay, unfair competition. And also, ang sabi is, at any time, okay, a mark can be canceled if it was obtained fraudulently. Okay? Now, let's go to question number 4. O sige, naintindihan na namin. Okay? Made validly in the registration made in good faith. Okay? Now, okay then, So how do I file an application for registration process? So this is question number 4. So we only have, okay, 4 steps. First, you apply. Okay, you have to submit your request, and then you have to give the applicant's details, the address, para alam ko saan ipapadala yung communications, no? The reproduction of the mark, the list of goods or services, and of course, the payment. Now, after the application, the mark will undergo examination. So, formalities examination and substantive examination. So, the formalities, they will just look, no, at the details of the mark, including, okay, the correct classification of the goods or services under the NIS classification. So ito class, yung NIS classification, in most of the cases, you can read about this NIS classification. So this is just a classification of the goods or services. So it's 1 to 45, okay, 1 to 45 yung classification. Classification 1 to 34 deals about goods, and classification 35 to 45 are the classification for services. Now, it will undergo substantive examination. The examiner will check if the mark is registrable under the trademark law. So if everything is okay, then the mark will be published for opposition for 30 days. So the period to file opposition. So anyone who will be damaged, who believes will be damaged by the registration, impending registration of the mark, can oppose. Okay? So within 30 days. So that's in section 134 of the IP code. So ayan siya. Kung nagre-review kayo, gaganyanin nyo na lang kung gusto nyong makita ano ba talaga yung nandoon sa provision. Because actually provision naman isasagot nyo dyan. Okay? Other questions. Now, on the 31st day, okay, from the date of publication, if no one opposed the mark, then the mark is already deemed registered. So waiting na lang yan sa pag-issue ng certificate of registration. So, the certificate of registration is actually a prima facie evidence of 3 things: the validity of the registration, the registrant's ownership of the mark, and the registrant's exclusive right to use the mark on the goods and services stated in the certificate and those that are related thereto. Now, what are the rights conferred because of this certificate of registration? So the exclusive right, okay, to use the mark. Okay, so this is the process. Now let's go to question number 5. So question number 5, where are you? Ayan na. May certificate of registration na ako. Ang tanong ko lang, how long is the validity of the registration? So the registration is valid for 10 years and renewable every 10 years as long as DAUs are submitted. So ano yung DAU? DAU na yan. DAU means declaration of actual use. So we have a 3rd-year declaration of actual use, a 5th-year declaration of actual use, and a renewal declaration of actual use. So you have to submit those. No? You have to submit a declaration along with the proof that you are using the mark in the Philippines. Yeah. So how can I prove? You have to file your declaration along with your proofs of use. So what are the acceptable proofs of use? So the acceptable proofs of use, or you can say it, that you can see the list, okay, in the trademark regulations. But in the case of W Land Holding versus Starwood, okay, it was DAU. This is one case, okay, regarding DAU, particularly the proofs of use. It was in this case wherein it was also discussed what are the proofs of use that are acceptable under the trademark regulations. But in this particular case, it was decided that internet use or online use is a legitimate use of the mark in the Philippines, as long as, okay, it can be shown that the owner has actually transacted or at the very least intentionally targeted customers, okay, in the Philippines. Because in this case, W Land Holding sought the cancellation of the W mark of Starwood. Kasi si Starwood daw walang use sa Philippines. Wala kasi silang hotel sa Philippines. But they have proven that they have this website, the .ph website pa nga, wherein they get bookings from Philippine residents. So according to the court, even if there is no physical presence here in the Philippines, because the internet is already a global marketplace, then there is legitimate use in the Philippines. Okay? This one, hindi ko yata to na-discuss sa class or nabanggit ko siguro pero saglit. Now, question 6. This should be question 7. Okay. Question 7. What are the remedies if my mark has been copied? O ano ba? Okay? So kung the very first one is pwede mong harangin. Okay? Habang hindi pa registered through opposition. Okay? You can oppose the mark within the 30 days that it was published for opposition. Pero kung napalampas mo yun, kasi hindi mo naman alam na nakapublish siya, pwede mo pa rin namang habulin through cancellation. Okay? Or you can also file case of infringement, unfair competition, false designation of origin, false description, or representation. Okay, now question number 8. Okay, so what are the grounds for cancellation and can I file it anytime? So bakit yung opposition? What are the grounds for opposition pala? Wala. Yung ground niya, if you think you'll be damaged. Okay, so you have to prove that you will be damaged by the impending registration of the mark. Same with cancellation also. Okay? As a cancellation, nakalagay din, a petition to cancel a registration of the mark under this act may be filed with the Bureau of Legal Affairs by any person who believes that he is or will be damaged by the registration of the mark. So it can be filed within 5 years from the date of registration. But it can also be filed anytime if the mark becomes generic, it was abandoned, or it is obtained fraudulently. So obtained fraudulently, ito na yung mga cases ng bad faith. Kaya inilista ko ulit dito si Gloria Maris, Lim versus C. Oh, ba't may Gloria Maris ulit to? Lim versus C, and the other one, Zulueta versus Sima Greek Tavernas. These are new cases, and it all deals with bad faith registrations, trademark squatting, etc. Now, ito misrepresents, okay? So there's misrepresentation. We discussed this last time, the case of In-N-Out Burger. So there was misrepresentation because even the labels that they use is the same with the labels of the legitimate owner of the In-N-Out Burger. Now, in the Gloria Maris case, it says there, a trademark registered in bad faith is unfair competition. There's no latches daw kasi medyo matagal yung pag-file ng petition for cancellation. That's why the opponent was arguing that it's already barred by latches, but it's not, because cancellation can be at any time for registration that is obtained fraudulently. Okay, now let's move to what is infringement. So infringement was also discussed in Zuneka case, but in Zuneka case, wala daw infringement si Zuneka. Okay, Zuneka is the prior user, also using Zynapse, but they don't have a registration. So if you are using the mark without authority of the registered owner, then pwede ngang infringement yan. But in this case, why is there no infringement? There's no infringement because the court said we have 159.1. So it says there, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 155, which is the provision on infringement, a registered trademark shall have no effect against any person who, in good faith, before the filing date or priority date, was using the mark for the purposes of his business or enterprise. Yan. Okay? So, in good faith kasi din na ginagamit niya. Even before the filing ni Natraform. Okay? The filing or registration ni Natraform. Therefore, wala daw infringement. Now, we have here the case of unfair competition. So what is unfair competition and how it is different from infringement? Now, I'll just go back to our discussion last time, so don't forget this one. The provision on infringement and unfair competition, it's very long, so you can read it. But if we'll have to summarize it, this is just the summary. So infringement is the unauthorized use of a trademark. So you have to remember that registration is necessary before you can file an action for infringement. So ibig sabihin, kung ikaw ang magfa-file ng infringement case against the other party, dapat ikaw ang may registration. Okay? So fraudulent intent here is not necessary as long as you have your prior registration. While in unfair competition, the fraudulent intent is essential. So unfair competition is the passing off of one's goods as those of another. But in unfair competition, registration is not necessary. Okay? Now, let's go back. So yan na. And then we have the case of Shang Properties versus St. Francis Development, wherein the court said that there's no unfair competition. There's no unfair competition because the mark that is in question is a geographically descriptive mark. Kasi St. Francis yung pinag-aawayan nila. And it is a street along Ortigas. So walang may-ari because the court said that there's no unfair competition because there's no fraud. Okay? The use of Shangri-La of the term St. Francis is Shangri-La is permitted use because it is a public domain term, being the name of a street. And kung nasa hotel industry business ka nga, paano mo sasabihin yung address mo kapag hindi mo sinabi kung ano yung street? So it is necessary in their line of business. So the court said there's no unfair competition because descriptive geographical terms are in the public domain, in the sense that every seller has the right to inform customers of the geographical origin of the goods. And in this case, the court said, unless a secondary meaning has been established, geographically descriptive mark due to its general public domain classification is disqualified from trademark registration. That's why nilista ko din dito yung case ni St. Francis. Because in this case, the court enumerated, how do we determine yung secondary meaning? And in this case kasi, hindi naman sila nag-prove ng secondary meaning. Okay, I think that's the end, the summary. So ito na yung mga essential na provisions that you need and explanations. Now, based on our syllabus, okay, ang daming cases dito, di ba, that I assigned to you to digest. So, may makukuha dito for sure sa exam because so I know, dinigest nyo to, so dapat masasagot nyo, okay? Yung mga questions about this one. So I told you that you only have to read the CODAL, the trademark law provisions, and then the cases, yeah? And then the discussions in class. So dapat alam nyo pa rin ano yung confusion of business, confusion of goods, diba? Because it will help you to answer questions regarding confusing similarity. Okay, what else? So, yung exam is only 10 items. It's more on essay. Okay, baka merong enumeration. Merong enumeration, but it's more on the HOTS question. Okay, HOTS question, which means you will use higher order thinking skills. So you will analyze what to do in those particular cases. So I hope this discussion helped you. See you tomorrow, class. Okay, bye bye. Bye.